Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time you're listening to this podcast. You have discovered the Marry Your Best Friend podcast, coming to you live from the Stewart Farm Studios in beautiful Noblesville, Indiana. It's nice and muddy, snow is melting, animals to feed. But hey, my wife has never looked better.
It's gross outside.
It is a little gross outside.
I am not a fan.
You're not a fan?
I'm not a fan of this weather. No, thank you.
Well, it's good to be back together. So on the last episode, I mentioned going to an international convention called PodFest. Mm-hmm. And PodFest was one of the things I learned.
Did they not recognize you when you walked in? Did they go, Marry Your Best Friend podcast?
Let me tell you something. There was quite the it was full of influencers. It was full of people who make a living off their podcast. So
I don't think we do that.
you don't think we make a living off our podcast? That's definitely true.
At least I'm not making a living off this podcast.
I'm making a living off of you, always.
You're pimping me out
it's a little
all the
Suzanne
time.
trafficking.
Yeah.
No, so it's interesting because they were talking about pod fatigue. People who produce podcasts get fatigued doing it. And I noticed that we're coming at the close of our second season. So for those of you that have not been following from the very beginning, we started this podcast 2 years ago because Suzanne's gift. Her birthday gift was all this podcast equipment.
That I knew nothing about.
But
or didn't ask for.
Wasn't it a great gift, though, from your loving husband?
It has opened doors.
It has opened doors.
For us to, carve out some time together. I'll give you that.
Yes. Well, if you are joining us on Facebook, or not Facebook, but on YouTube, if you're watching the video of this broadcast, my wife does look beautiful today.
Oh, you're awful. You're awful sweet. You're schooling for something.
Well, your number one love language is words of affirmation.
Yes.
And so I will start off this podcast by saying that when we first started this podcast 2 years ago, we were all gung-ho. I got the book on how to do a podcast.
That you never read.
I will read it at some point. But we moved forward with doing a podcast. We just recorded it and did it, and we thought we'd have one fan, and we reached out to that one person and said, if we do a podcast, will you listen? And she's still listening today, and thankfully we have more listeners. But what I was going to say is that first season, we did 19 episodes that first season.
Yeah, we were a little bit more
disciplined in our time. Yeah, we fired.
We've had a lot of stuff happen lately.
Yeah. We fired the producer from year one.
Unplanned stuff, I think.
Yeah, unplanned. But anyway, so this year we've only done like 7 podcasts. This will be like our 8th, I think.
Really? That's it?
This season. I know. So between now and February the 9th, but like in the next week, we've got to crank out like 20 podcasts.
Do you know what yesterday was?
What was yesterday?
Yesterday was the day that I fell and broke my shoulder.
Oh yeah, so if you go back to some of the old shows, you'll see Suzanne and her lovely shoulder harness.
In my sling, very high on Percocet.
Oh my gosh, I forgot to say what today's topic is. Hi, I'm John. This is my wife Suzanne, and one of us needs to get off social media. That's the topic today.
One of us needs to get off.
Yeah, so we're talking about this episode is on technology,
social media. Boy, I shouldn't have left that hanging.
Well, the whole episode is going to be about technology's influence on modern relationships. Do we have a modern relationship, you and me?
Absolutely not.
You don't think so? We have a traditional old school.
100% 1960s.
You think so? Or June Cleaver?
I would not want it any other way.
Well, that's kind of modern. Everything comes back around.
I don't think there's anything modern about our relationship.
You don't really?
Except for the fact that I, talk back.
So the whole point of this, one of us needs to get off social media. So I wanted to stop on social media some time ago. I was like done with Facebook. I said, I'm just not going to do it anymore.
It was just one of your phases.
No, you said you can't. No, but your words to me were, you can't drop off Facebook. I was like, why? Like I was thinking, it's because I post such inspirational stuff. You're like, because I wouldn't know where you are.
Well, that's absolutely the truth. 100%.
So you don't track me on one of those 360 apps on my phone.
Well, you know what? I tried the 360 app. I have a couple of friends that swear by 360 and like...
Is it called 360? Is that the right one?
Yeah. And they don't just like track their kids, but Okay, so example, Liz and I were having lunch today, right? There have been very, very many times that we have been having lunch. And we don't go and just have a bite to eat and then go about our day. It's long. I tip quite a bit when we go because we're there for a couple hours, running our mouths or whatever. And her husband will look her up on 360 and go, if he sees that she's at Chewy's or whatever, he'll go, "You're eating lunch with Suzanne, aren't you?" Like, why are you at Chewy's for 3 hours?
So do you think that's a good thing for husbands and wives to track each other on their cell phone?
In their situation, yeah, probably, because he has a dangerous job. But I don't know. I mean, Denise tracks,
Do you have an app
Denise
that tracks me?
Colin, and he
Her
lives
son.
in California.
Okay. But do you have a tracking app on me?
No, because
Are you sure?
I'm sure.
Does your Find Your iPhone show where I am?
If you turn it on, I turn mine off.
Oh, did you? Yeah, first off. Okay.
You did find me once, and I was like, "How are you finding me? How do you know where I am?"
You didn't like that?
I did not appreciate
We've been
that.
married for over 35 years. We share. We
share everything
but we
except
do have
for
some
where I
secrets.
am during the day. That is my business.
That's the way you feel.
I feel like if the things get done that need to get done, then you don't need to know how they got done.
Okay, so that's a pragmatic approach if you're following along at home, keeping score. But Suzanne is looking at me like she does not want me to know where she is during the day.
I mean,
Like, where do you go during the day you don't want your husband to know? Shopping?
maybe. I mean, I'm
Are
not
you in a
doing
bowling
bad
league that I
stuff.
don't know about?
No, I'm not doing anything bad. I just, sometimes I just don't need to be gotten.
Are you hanging out the Silver Dollar off the square in Noblesville?
Yeah.
Having beer at noon? What are you doing?
I'm stripping in the afternoon. It's Big Lady Thursday.
Trust me, those of us that go to that place. Oh, I'm sorry. I've heard that Big Lady Thursday is no longer a thing.
No, I just,
Oh, time out, though. I was in Daytona Beach last week, and
Shocker.
And guess what the strip
Guess
club?
where I was? Here in the snow.
Guess what the strip club was called across the street?
I would have no clue.
Biggins.
Biggins.
That was the name of it. Biggins.
Biggins.
You can thank Brian Zett for telling me that because I didn't notice it, but he said,
I'm
make sure you go check
sure
out.
you didn't notice that.
No.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's the topic today. We're going to talk about social media and
I just feel like everybody gets a hold of me wherever I am, and sometimes I just don't want to be gotten a hold of. Does that make sense?
I guess. But,
Like just 5 minutes, and I went into Nordstrom Rack yesterday to look for something.
I didn't know that because I'm not
Lickety-split.
tracking you.
Well, whatever. I don't care what you think.
went into Nordstrom
I went
Rack.
into Nordstrom, and I was looking for something. I was just quick looking, and my phone dinged and rang at least 5 times, and I was like, "Oh my God, can I not have 5 minutes?" And it's children, grown children. It's whatever. It's doctor's appointments that are being confirmed. How many times? Okay, for real.
That
how
is the
many
one thing
times
about
do we
Ascension
have
Medical.
to confirm
Well,
a
no.
doctor's
And
appointment?
They email you and they text you.
Oh dear.
And they call you.
And then
And then they make you wait for an
yes
hour.
to confirm, and then yes that you confirmed that you confirmed.
There you
Anyway,
go. And then they let you. They then ping me again to have me check in before I get there. That's a whole
sometimes I
nother process.
accidentally can't find my phone, and
Oh, first off, the kids always talk about you
not answering
having
the
your
phone.
And
Yeah.
I'm always upset because they don't answer their phone. And we've talked about that before, where they'll just text me back and say, "What do you want?" I'm like, "I want you to answer your damn phone." But okay, going back to technology. So
Okay.
you are not tracking me currently.
I'm not currently tracking you,
I am not tracking you that I know of.
but you know what?
I think you are on my Find My iPhone for one of your devices or something like that.
No, I have that little tag, air tag,
Oh yes.
on my keys
Okay, so am I tracking your keys?
because I can't ever find my keys.
Okay, so let's talk about the positives of technology and relationships. So when we first, I mean, this is ancient, y'all. People who are listening to this are under the age, like we could be your parents, because we've been married 35 years. So 39 years ago is when we met in 1985. Oh my gosh.
I know.
Is it about to be our 40th
It
meet
is.
cute next month?
It is about to
Wow.
be our 40th meet cute.
In March.
We talked about that last year, the meet cute. I love it.
Yes, we will celebrate our 40th meeting in the hot tub in Hawaii, and that was when I was thin and sexy in my white shorts, as you recall.
Should I get a gift for that?
You mean, are you going to give me a gift? Or you should get a gift. Yeah, of course you should. That's another one of your 5 love languages is gifts. So
This birthday is one of the good.
no, but when
gift
we first
birthdays.
met, we did not live in the same town. We did not live in the same state. You were in Texas. I was. My parents lived in Indiana. I was going to school in
I
Oklahoma.
was still in high school.
We relied on technology, i.e.,
Well,
phone calls.
I was like, that really wasn't technology. That was like AT&T.
Well, no, but I'm comparing it. So when we first were together, it was phone calls and it was mixtapes
You did
and it-
make me a couple mixtapes.
and it was letter writing.
Did we write letters?
I wrote letters. You never responded.
I don't think you wrote letters. You
I
would
wrote
send me
letters.
cards.
Okay, I
There
wrote
were no
letters. I
love
sent
letters.
There were love letters. I remember writing them out, and I remember sending a mixtape. And I
Yes,
remember,
I got the mixtape.
and I remember recording myself driving down the road, talking to you as if you were there, and that was somehow romantic
do.
back in 1988.
I do remember that, and I also
And this was a cassette tape.
could hear all the cars passing you because the window was down. Remember, you had that old car, stuff didn't work, so your windows
so
were
anyway.
down.
Anyway, our technology back then was, and it was funny because you were going to school in Missouri. I was living in Los Angeles, and my
You mean
phone
when we
bill
were actually together?
when we were
Yeah.
once we were together and
Together,
engaged,
together.
my phone bill was $850 one month,
Was it really
and my dad
that much? I
my
just remember.
shit hit the fan.
Yeah, it
The
did.
next month, it was over $800. Because
We would fall
hold on, we
asleep
got
on the
engaged.
phone
Don't hang up.
together.
You hang up first. No, you hang up first. Let's just stay here. So we had these long phone calls.
We just wanted to be together.
We did, but we were separate. But so we got engaged 4th of July. So July, August, September, expensive phone calls. My dad finally said, "It's cheaper for you to just move to Missouri." And we
Well,
needed to
my
be-
mom paid your
One of those months.
phone bill.
Yeah, one of those months.
Yeah, because they were gonna like cut off something.
so
and
anyway,
you
so
had a choice.
we no
you
longer
could either
had-
have electricity or pay your phone bill.
So that was actually once I had the apartment, though, I think. So I
maybe.
moved to Springfield, Missouri. And while I was in Springfield, Missouri,
Because I only had 1 year left.
that's
of
when I
school.
got the first cell phone. And if you remember cell phones, so we talk about technology, cell phone.
You got a cell phone? No, it was
yeah,
right
because
when we got married.
because Doug Pitt was the guy that sold it to me. He was an Alltel
Doug
selling.
Pitt.
That's another story we can talk about someday. But
Claim to fame.
no, but what was funny about all this is we started out with a cell phone or a telephone relationship, and we would write and telephone. And then when cell phones came out, the first cell phone, you had a certain amount of minutes. You could buy like 600 minutes a month. Remember?
Yeah, and
they
you
had, like,
couldn't.
900 minutes.
And roaming, if you were out
so
of
much more
state,
expensive.
you know, it was
And so then at one point, this was after we were married and stuff. It was cheaper for me to have 2 cell phones than 1 cell phone because I had like 1,000 minutes on one and 1,000 minutes on the other. And so
you
it
are
made it-
always
we're always trying to
like
stay cheap.
compensating for.
No,
something.
but young people today have no understanding of what it was like pre-internet. This is AOL came out when we were first married in 1989 because we were charter members of AOL. You still have your email
I
address
do
from
still.
AOL.
If you email me today, it will be at an AOL address.
And I still have the same password from that from when we signed up.
So do I.
Because
yeah,
our-
I do too.
Because our dog's name was Kate, and so Kate's always
Yeah.
wrapped up in anything. And you know what's funny? I don't know if I've ever told you this. Loretta, who is my admin in Dallas, and
Love her.
We love Loretta. For those of you that don't know, Loretta worked with me at the Boy Scouts. She never wanted to work for me. Like
Her husband didn't want her to work for you.
Well, no.
You had quite the reputation.
no,
Let's
but
just
when
make
I
that
went,
clear.
when I had a consulting agreement with the Boy Scouts, she was assigned to help me get registered in all 50 states as a professional fundraiser on their behalf, and so she was an administrative pro. They said
she was awesome.
She was awesome. But here's the thing. She worked with me for a year as a consultant. So then a year later, when they asked me to come work for them full time, my condition was I will join the organization full time if you give me Loretta. And I understand that she was kicking and screaming and saying no.
She
all that
was, and
stuff.
I know her husband said, "Don't you do it because
So-
it's going to be too much stress." And
So anyway, so she worked for me for like 4 years, and I love Loretta. She's like literally one of my favorite
didn't
people.
she get an award? She
Well,
got an award.
she got an award for
working
survive-
for you for
yeah.
survival.
Here's
of
the whole thing.
working for
Here's the whole
Jon
thing. I
Stewart.
go to her office, and I'm like sitting in her office, in her new office after she left me. She went to work in the foundation for Stacy Huff, and I went down to her office, her workspace, and I see a trophy sitting there. I'm like, "What's that trophy for?" Because I've seen everything in her office.
I need a trophy.
The trophy was Surviving Jon Stewart Award.
I definitely think I need a surviving Jon Stewart.
Did you know that Tim Bouchard has a club of people who've worked for me? Like they have meetings and like they've talked and like he has a group of people that
Shut
No, he and Brian Zepp are both members of it, and other people. Anyway, back to the thing I was telling you about Loretta.
Not something to be proud of, sweetheart.
I think it's admirable. But
It's legacy.
well, you know what's funny about Loretta? I was so mad. So I had found out that she had applied for a job with the foundation for Stacy Huff, and she's my administrative assistant. I can't operate without her. And
I couldn't tolerate you without her.
she interviews for this job. Well, Stacy and I are like peers. We're coworkers, right? He's
Okay.
over one department, I'm over another department.
Okay.
We both report up to Brad Farmer. So if you've got a problem,
him.
and Stacy and I are both going to go see Brad in a week. But anyway, I call Brad and I said, Brad, you've got to get involved in this. Stacy can't steal my admin. You know what his response was to me? Son, at some point we got to bring soldiers home from Iraq and Afghanistan. He compared combat pay and combat duty to working for me.
Oh, there is not enough money in the world, enough luxury handbags to make me work for you.
Okay, so the reason why I brought up Loretta on that whole thing was because when we worked together, and so she left me, and Carrie stepped up to be the admin.
Poor Carrie. She
The
didn't know
two
what
of
she
them,
was getting
Loretta
into.
was training Carrie, okay? And in that training, I hear them going over all my passwords and all that kind of stuff. And Carrie goes,
Oh, I think I remember this.
Carrie goes, Kate? Who's Kate? Loretta goes, oh, don't ask. I don't know. It might have been a daughter they lost. I've never asked.
I've never asked.
I've never asked. 4 years she worked with me. She never wanted to ask who Kate was because she thought that Kate was our first dog. So that was
Yeah.
in 1989. AOL came out, and that was the first password that I thought it was Kate. But anyway, so we've advanced
you're
through technology. We went through AOL days. We went through.
Some of us still are in AOL.
the modem hookups and all that kind of stuff. And then
That whole thing.
we were amazed because like AOL had chat rooms and you could chat with people on AOL when
People
it first
got
started.
in trouble doing that.
They did.
That was nasty.
But I had friends that I could chat with, and I
no,
remember.
that was it Instant Messenger?
Well, that was the next thing. So then it morphed into Instant Messenger.
Okay.
Because when Instant Messenger first started, you remember Craig and Sophia Hansen in Nashville?
Yeah.
Like 35 years ago. Good memory. He was a sound engineer. He had AOL and we had AOL. So like we were the only two that we knew each other that was chatting in 1989 to each other. I'll be like, hey, what are you doing? He goes, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm sitting here typing on my computer. So anyway, then Instant
computer
Messenger
that
came
you
out.
bought that you weren't supposed to buy.
Yeah. So anyway, we have all these things, and I just remember the technology advances. The thing that was the game changer as it relates to relationships and kind of where we're going with this technology was really MySpace. When MySpace came out, people
I never
started
had a
getting pages.
MySpace.
You didn't? I had a MySpace. So you had a Facebook. So I was working.
You showed me how to do Facebook, and
Yeah. So I was working
you
with
were
Doug.
like, "This will change your life."
Well, it did. So back in that would have been 2006 timeframe, I guess, because when
don't
Facebook
know.
when
I don't
Facebook
even
first came out,
remember.
we were out of college, and it was started just for colleges. And if you remember through the movie,
Honey,
through the
we
story-
lived here.
I know.
when-
What I'm saying is, when
Oh.
it first started, Doug and I were working together. We had started. We were working the ignition,
Oh
or we
yeah,
had
and it
started
was
Be
just
Forward.
for colleges. We weren't in college.
No, we were not in
I thought
college.
That's what you said. I was
Facebook
like, "Good
started with
Lord."
your jewelry's making noise. So for our listeners at home, forgive me for all the jingle jangle. That's not on my wrist.
It's
but-
on mine, but look, I got this for Christmas, and my sweet little husband gave it to me. Isn't it so cute? If you can see
It
it.
is so cute. People can't see it, but Suzanne wanted to go retro back to an old charm bracelet. And
did.
James Avery, which was the charm factor, Suzanne has a new charm bracelet with all the spots on there on her charm
goes
bracelet
from Hawaii
from
to
where we met. So it's
Nashville,
Hawaii to
Oregon,
Nashville,
Texas,
Texas.
Indiana.
Anyway,
It's super cute.
It is
but
super
it does jingle jangle.
okay. So in 2006 timeframe,
So
I get on social media. On Facebook. First, I had MySpace. Then Facebook came out. It started in college campuses. As soon as you could do it without an edu, a .edu, and you could do it with a .com. That's when Doug and I signed up. Well, what was fun about when Facebook first started, though, I was starting pages for everything that I liked. Because it was before businesses got involved. So, like, what was my favorite restaurant in Texas?
I don't.
You really have to think about this. What-
Chuy's? No.
my favorite
Esparza's?
restaurant. No, my Lord, Babe's Chicken House.
Oh, I was
So-
going Mexican. I was fixing to say
Yeah, so
Cocina.
Facebook comes out and Doug and I go down to Texas and I take him to Babes. He knew Babes because he was already at Panther Racing and stuff, but we went to eat at Babes. And I said, I should start a page for them. So I started a page for Babes Chicken House right there on Facebook. And this is like 2005, 2006,
Wow.
whenever it started. Well, what was funny was people started liking their page and that got up to like 5,000 people.
And that's all due to you.
Well, no, it
And
wasn't at that time.
Facebook?
And I called Tiffany over who the family the vineyards who own Babes,
Mm-hmm.
and I sent her an email and I said, hey, you've got a Facebook page, you need to take this over. And she was like, oh no, we've said you're doing a great job. So like, great. So then it got to 10,000, then it got to 15,000. So like, I'm like updating their hours and I'm updating pictures and basically running social media for Babe's Chicken House. It got to 25,000 people. And I called
You're
Tiffany.
kidding.
No, I called Tiffany. I said, you have to take it over. Like, this is not for me. Well,
This is not my job.
well, the funny thing was, I did that for restaurants that I liked, for businesses I liked. I did it for like people that I liked. I remember I did like a Connie Britton page because I liked her way back then or whatever.
Lord, you had more time on your hands than I thought you
No,
did.
but Doug and I you weren't tracking me back
I
then.
wasn't tracking you.
Anyway, what was funny was
You didn't want to be found.
it got bad when people started sending messages and letters in. So like then every single one of those that I started, I reached out to whoever I started it on behalf of and transferred it or tried to transfer it over because
heavens.
it was a pain in the where once it got going.
Ass.
Well, no, but when we were just kind of playing around. So, anyways, but technology today. I mean, let's talk about you TikTok all day long.
I do not TikTok all day long.
You love TikTok.
I do like a little TikTok here and there.
Okay, this is like an addict going to the doctor.
That's so not true.
It is too. How many cigarettes do you have on a daily? Oh, just like two, maybe three, and it's a pack a day.
No,
You send me 3 or 4 TikTok videos every day.
I don't either because you say, "Why are you sending me this TikTok?"
Okay, but you send them to Liz. You guys.
I do. That's kind of how we like.
Okay, Instagram. Are
communicate
you on
through the day.
Instagram all the time?
I'm not on Instagram as much. I
You have
probably
2
should.
profiles on Instagram because you can't remember the password on Grapevine Suze. So now you're Goat Mama Suze.
I know.
So
Well,
sometimes
that one, I think Goat Mama Sue's went with something else that was attached to Instagram.
okay.
remember.
But you do
I
like.
don't know how it all works, to tell you the truth.
But there's fatigue on Facebook. They put way too many ads in there nowadays. It's like,
Yeah, I feel like my Instagram is more ad than it is anything else.
would you pay money to remove ads from Facebook or from Instagram?
Would I pay my? You
Like a
mean like would
subscription
I pay a subscription?
Our
like you do?
Netflix subscription just went up again.
Did it really?
Absolutely. We are paying more in subscriptions now than we ever did with cable or satellite, like double.
It's so good.
I know,
It's
but
so good.
I know you love TV, but seriously, we have Netflix, Disney, BritBox, YouTube.
You
TV.
signed up for BritBox.
There's like at least 8 more. Paramount.
Gotta have that.
You have to have it.
I'm sorry, but whatever Taylor Sheridan is writing, I am watching.
Okay, this is on social media. We can talk about streaming TV at some other point.
We already did that one.
But okay, if we look at the positives of technology, I think it's proven improved communication. So I wrote down here, discuss how tech like messaging apps and video calls keeps couples connected, especially in long distance relationships. That's true in our situation. And I
It
will tell you,
absolutely works for us.
well,
in
and
that
raising 3
situation.
kids. So I've traveled. People who know us know that I've traveled for a living, have commuted for a living out of Dallas, out of Atlanta, out of New York, and thank God for FaceTime. Thank God for now Zoom calls and I was using Zoom before Zoom. We had Uvu. Remember Uvu?
I remember
And before
you using that. agree.
we had video calling. Golly, 2006, 2005, whatever it was. I was always trying to use video instead of travel, but it was always hard to get the other people to connect on it. The great thing about the pandemic was everybody learned how to Zoom.
Okay, do you remember way, way, way back before we had FaceTime, before Apple phones came out?
What about those little phones that gave them to moms?
Yes, and they were like little screens,
Yep.
and it would attach to your landline. I thought we were living with the Jetsons.
I know. I gave my mom and dad one, and I gave your mom one.
She thought it was amazing.
So we
but
could actually see, so they could see their grandkids.
Yeah.
But I remember something you told me one time. I was traveling somewhere. Our kids were teenagers, and I basically said, "Am I gone too much? Like, is this commuting?" I think I was in New York at the time or something. But I said, is my travel too much? Should I look at changing basically, career, life,
Lifestyle,
whatever it is?
yeah.
And you said to me, I'll never forget this. Your kids roll their eyes at you the same whether you're here or whether it's over FaceTime.
It's true.
And even though I travel, people always wonder because it's like I try to be, and we've talked about this before. I try to be as present in Indianapolis, Noblesville, Indiana, even though I'm traveling. So this last week when I was in Daytona Beach, I'm watching WTHR News. I'm looking at your weather. I know you're at 0 degrees. I'm looking at the Nest to make sure that, that the heater's working.
And
we talk like 5 or 6 times a day.
Yeah. And the kids know we're talking. So when they were little, they knew, like, if something was going to go down, if they were going to get in trouble for something, it wasn't just going to be me, because you were going to be a part of it. I would say to J. Daniel, well, I say J. Daniel, but any of them, I would say, even to this day, if he doesn't do something that is on his task list, because as an adult living here and taking advantage of being still at home and having bills paid and stuff, he has a task list.
Absolutely.
That is in lieu of if
but
he
see,
had
when
to
I was
pay
growing
rent.
up,
but if he doesn't do that, I will say, no matter where you are in the world, I will say, do I need to call Dad? Do I need to get Dad on the phone
that's what I
right
was gonna
now
say. My
and
mom
remind
used that.
you? But the fact is, instead of wait till your father gets home, it's I call you right then and you're on the phone, and we take
because I used
care
to have
of
to wait till
business.
my mom would be like, wait till your father gets home on Friday, because he traveled every other week.
Yeah, but he doesn't have to wait till Friday.
And my
I'll
problem
do it
with
right
my
then.
mother, now she may not have the best memory now, but back then, boy, she was an elephant when it came to everything I did wrong.
Oh, I'm sure.
Okay,
she
so-
probably made little crib notes.
Yeah, well, so messaging apps, FaceTime, video calls, all helps couples stay connected. There are dangers. I mean, I asked you this question a couple weeks ago. Would you want to be a couple that shares our social media? So it'd be John and Suzanne.
Oh God, no! But it's not for the reason you think. I
But there
don't
are
want to
some
be on
couples-
your social media. I don't want to read all your shit. I just don't want it. I don't need it. I don't want it.
Is
You
this the
have
political
too
stuff or
much-
the religious stuff or
all
the
of
racist
it.
stuff?
All of it. It's just too.
I did lose a friend on social media. It was you remember Tom that I worked with. He dropped me on social media, and I talked to him. I said, "Did I do something to offend you?" He goes, "No." He goes, "You and I are fine. It's your feed." I was like, "What do you mean?" He goes, "I just can't handle." And I'm thinking, "Oh, he's a Democrat." And he was like, "No, it's not the politics."
It's so much.
No, but he goes, "It's your Jesus stuff."
It's your Jesus.
So he wasn't offended by my conservative Republican stuff.
It was your Jesus.
My Jesus stuff. So anyway.
It's just you have so many friends and you have so many colleagues, people I don't know.
Okay, but like-
it's too much.
I respect those couples that share a Facebook account. I just
Oh,
don't know.
sure.
But like whenever it's one of their birthdays, I don't know which one I'm wishing happy birthday to, and I'm wondering if I'm forgetting the other one. And then if I send a
Well,
message,
it would say,
'Cause it would be
it'll
like,
just
this is for
say
Paul and Jeannie.
John and Sue.
yes,
Oh,
yeah,
I see.
and there's a number of those that have those. And then certain people who swear off of Facebook. Here's the thing that gets me too: there are people that I know that say, "Oh, we're not on Facebook,"
But
and
they scroll.
they're known. I don't have an account, and then they make a comment about something that I posted some time ago, like in person, and I'll be like, "Wait, you said you
How'd
don't
you
have
know
Facebook? How'd you
that?"
know that? Oh, I heard you got a new car." It's like, how did you know that? So, anyway, I think you should be upfront and honest. Okay, the next one: positives of technology and relationships. Access to resources. Highlight how couples can access relationship advice and resources through podcasts like this one.
Well, what a shameless plug.
We're only here to inspire, and we're only here to encourage you that your marriage can't be worse than ours.
I'm just here to make you laugh.
Yeah, that's true. But great resources through podcasts, blogs. I'd love it if any of our listeners would send us notes as to some podcasts that you love that we should listen
Or
to.
topics that you would like to hear us talk about.
And here we
'Cause,
go.
You know,
you can use resources
run
through
out of stuff,
podcasts,
believe it or
blogs, and online counseling. Oh, timeout. I haven't made the big announcement about season 3 yet.
oh, well, I don't even know what this is.
Well, we talked about this podcast,
Surprise,
blogs, and
surprise.
online counseling.
What?
Season 3, we're bringing guests on.
Oh, well, we've been talking about
I know,
it.
but we've made a commitment. Our producer has hired a booking service.
Has he gotten turned down yet?
The first person, yes. Okay. So yes, the producer
They're
hired.
not lining up around the block to be on Marry Your Best Friend
Well,
podcast.
what's funny is they all ask what the size of the audience and they want to know what the topics are and things of that nature. The very first
Are you
person.
are you asking important persons?
No. But anyway, our producer hired a booking agency, and the booking agency reaches out to the first person who I had identified as somebody who I wanted on the podcast because she's an author. She started a whole movement. She's an amazing individual, and you've not met her.
Yeah. So see, I have nothing to do with it.
But I was inviting she and her husband onto our show, and she said, oh my gosh, I love that you're doing this, but this is my husband's worst nightmare. Hard pass. And I was like, wow, you're my first. And then she was like, we're your first? But they were our first ass. So,
Not
yes.
they. I mean,
She and her husband.
Our first. They were your first because I have no idea that.
Okay.
I didn't even know we had
Excuse
this.
me.
This.
This is a plural. The show, Marry Your Best Friend podcast, had its first guest invite and first turn down. So you're part of that. So anyway, as we keep going through this, stay tuned. Season 3 is going to be, I'm really excited about the guests that we're someday going to book. If not, then one of us will be in costume being a guest. But otherwise, we'll be sitting here with our own
Our
kids.
dogs.
Yeah, our dogs. Okay, so access to resources, highlight how couples can access resources. We know that. Shared experiences. Talk about how streaming services, online games, social media can provide shared experiences and entertainment. You love this. When you see something that makes you laugh, you love to then take it and put it in the family chat.
I did. You know what? I'm not the only one though. Our children
When we see a good
love
meme,
the family chat.
we do, and that's technology. That's a shared experience.
And it kind of, it keeps everybody.
And I think every family
touch.
loves the family chat. I hope
I
so.
do too. I think the family chat is the most fun thing that we have going on. I love the family chat.
Well, we also, the other thing, and I'm sure couples go through this too, if you see something, first off, everybody knows that Suzanne's, another one of Suzanne's love languages is TV. She loves watching TV. We had a whole episode on TV. But she can binge Netflix at twice the speed of Netflix. Like if they have like 5 new movies out, she's already watched 4 of them by the time I've even gotten to the welcome screen. So I'll be like, oh, have you seen this?
You know why I can do that?
Because you're folding clothes.
Because I am a multitasker. That is correct.
There you go. So I may be known to watch a movie when I'm driving down the road somewhere.
That is so dangerous.
Well, I'm just listening and having the camera.
How
right.
can you just listen? You got to see the facial expression.
I always feel bad for the filmmakers who are so intent about people seeing this in a studio or in a theater with a large screen, and instead of having a large screen, I'm watching it on my phone driving 90 miles an hour
I
down
think
the
they're
road.
just probably happy somebody's watching it.
But the whole point is, you will watch something. I will ask you if you've seen it. You'll say, yes, of course, I'll go ahead and watch it. And then we'll talk about it.
I do like to discuss.
Yeah. Or the other thing that we do, and this is, I'm sure every couple faces the same challenge. We start watching a series together. We'll watch 3 or 4 episodes.
And then we separate.
And then I leave.
Yeah.
And I come back ready to watch episode 4.
Oh, don't be even.
And
be
you're
blaming
already
that
in
on me.
you're already like in year 7.
Okay, I am not the only one. You will say, "Oh, I finished it because I was on a plane or I was."
Well, usually
stuck
I'll
in
watch
New
a
York
movie
or
that you
whatever.
haven't seen, because I do watch movies on the planes.
Yeah.
And we'll watch whatever's on Delta at that time, and then you'll say, "Oh, have you seen this?" I'll be like, "Yes," and that's the only time I ever one up you in seeing movies first. So the whole point: positives of technology, shared experiences. We try to maximize the shared experiences between the two of
We
us and our
discuss.
kids. Okay, negatives. Boo, hiss. Negatives of technology and
Boo
relationships.
gets in the way. Everybody can be found all the time. You don't ever have any privacy. Everybody's in your business. Nobody takes what you say
What I love about
as you should say it. I mean, like as you meant it, I guess is a better way to say it.
What I love about you is
Everything.
I have notes here, and I was literally, I said, negatives of technology and relationships. I take a breath, and you just dive right in with your negatives.
It was my turn.
Okay, go ahead. Any other negatives before I read my little list here?
I'm sure there's more, but go ahead.
Okay.
I'll let you have turn.
Negative 1. Miscommunication and misinterpretation.
That's what I was saying.
Explore how text or lack of face-to-face interaction can lead to misunderstandings.
Well, that is absolutely so common.
Yeah.
You know?
When we're texting back and forth. And
I think that's where the emoji comes in very handy.
why do you always send me that one that looks like a mountain, but it's brown with a smiley face?
The poo-poo emoji.
Oh, is that what that is?
Yeah, because you're full of shit.
Oh, thank you. You like that one. The emoji I go to the most is probably the race car and the checkered flag.
I use that one the whole month of May.
Yeah, and I heart a lot of things. And
You
I
do
didn't-
heart a lot of
I
things.
didn't realize somebody, one of my younger friends, like in the 20s, told me that the color of the heart matters.
Not the 1920s, but
No,
they
like
are in
one of my
their
20-year-old. Because
I asked
I heart
Julianne.
everybody. I heart everybody, and they'll send me like a purple heart or a green heart, and I'm like,
I asked about that the other day. I asked Julianne, who is 21. I said, does the color matter? You know, because I have one friend who does orange all the time, and then I have one friend that does like that purple violet color. And I thought, well, maybe that's just their favorite color because I just do the pink one all the time because that's my favorite color. And she said, I don't think that it means anything, Mom. So I didn't think about it. What does it mean?
I don't know, but your mother has a black heart. Let's go. That's a totally separate subject.
You were on her this week.
I love your mother. She's still with us. So negatives, text, lack of face-to-face interaction can lead to misunderstandings. We used to have a rule at the office that it was a 3 email rule. That on the third, so if I email you something, say, what do you think about this? You respond back. That's email number 2. And then if I respond back on the third email, if it has to go beyond the third email, you have to get up out of off your chair
and go talk
to somebody face to face.
Interesting.
And today, I tell you, so many texts can be misunderstood. So many emails can be misunderstood.
But
so
you
many
know
people
what?
hide behind them.
So many phone calls could be an email or a text.
That is true. Okay, next one. Screen time over quality time. Discuss the challenge of phones and devices distracting from
My
meaningful...
phone just blinked.
It did. And this is, when I want to sit at the dinner table and have a nice conversation and you're looking at your phone scrolling TikTok videos.
That is, I don't ever do that. I barely sit down when it's dinner unless we're out to eat, for God's sake.
If we're out to eat and your phone is out and
It means that somebody's trying to get me. I'm sure not trying to get anybody else.
Okay.
You can just keep that flag on your side.
This device is distracting.
You are on your phone all the time.
From meaningful time together.
Time out.
We're running short on time today.
You have your phone out. If we are out to dinner, if we are at home at dinner, no matter where we are, if we are in the car, that phone is on, sir. Everybody can get a hold of you, or you can check your text.
You know what's funny? I just learned how to edit videos this past week. This may not make it in the podcast.
Let's just be truthful here, because you know what? The Lord knows your heart.
The Lord does know my heart.
And he knows the truth, and he sees you in the dark.
You cannot put do not disturb on the Lord.
You don't run from the
Okay,
Lord.
technology. The other night, I'm watching worship videos, and here in Indianapolis, Indiana, there's some incredible worship coming out of this Pentecostal church, and I was watching the Pentecostal music.
That was here in Indy?
It was here in Indy. And I'm watching it and go, man, these guys are pretty talented. They're here in Indy. I need to go check them out. And then the Pentecostal preacher came on. And it was like you could see your skin literally start shaking.
It's crawling.
And we identified past trauma of you being on a pew. How old were you?
Every age, my love, every age.
But it was the Pentecostal preacher of the screaming and the Jesus.
It was
and the healing and the and
I can't take it, man.
I love the content. I love the teaching, but it was the style of his voice. You did not even look at the screen, and it was like inside you just started to
just talking about it makes you
a little
cringe.
angry.
Yeah, it just makes me cringy. I'm sitting on the pew. I'm 10 years old. I hear it. I'm just thinking, I'm hot. I'm tired. I want to go home. Why are we
staring
still
at me
here?
from the organ.
We've been here 4 hours. Can I just go home and go to bed? I mean, it's just enough with the screaming.
So screen time over quality time. Your chosen screen is a TV screen.
Absolutely.
I think my chosen screen would be a movie screen. I love being in a movie theater.
I love being in a movie theater too. Like to see a really good movie on
because your phone's off, you're focused. Okay, another negative of technology and relationships: privacy and trust issues.
Well,
Touch on how technology can sometimes lead to issues like spying on a partner's activities or oversharing on social media. Have I ever shared something you go, "Oh dear God, why'd you share that?"
Pretty much.
No, you haven't.
Oh, yeah. And I'll say, you need to take that out.
Well, that's usually when I say something mean, but not like oversharing about our relationship or anything of that nature.
Well, there are things that you say, period, that I say you need to
roll that back.
Roll that back and think a little bit.
I wish you ran.
And I'm sure I do too. I mean, I'm kind of an oversharer.
I wish you ran my campaign because it probably would have been a little better. Because I shared a few things on there, I think.
Yeah, you did.
Okay, so privacy and trust issues. Touch on technology. I like this. I mean, we talked about the spying thing. I would be fine with you knowing where I am at all times. I mean, if you want to put a tracker on my phone and kind of watch where I'm going, it's fine.
I need to know.
My problem is if
when you're coming home,
Yeah.
more than where you are.
I get the 4:00 phone call that most if you're in a long-term married relationship, I hope that you get the phone call around 4:00 that is very simple. What'd you have for lunch? Can you explain what did you have for lunch?
What'd you have for lunch, so that I don't repeat it for dinner?
Because
Or if you
early
had
in
a
our
big
marriage-
lunch, are we even eating dinner tonight? Because our kids are kind of at that adult age where they
They're on
don't
their own.
always eat dinner. So if I'm not too hungry and I can eat a bologna sandwich or a bowl of cereal, and you ate a big lunch, then I'm not going to knock myself out in the kitchen, or if there's a chance for a go out to eat
that's
kind
what
of
you
thing.
like. That's what you like.
Yeah.
Yeah. You
Then
like
I'm out, and then I might be down for that.
So one carryover that happened.
Suze does love to go out for a meal.
My mother and father, mom or dad always said the kitchen was closed on Sundays.
Absolutely.
And the other thing, he didn't teach me this, but somehow in your family, you also, when the maid was there, you didn't you didn't mess up the kitchen that day either.
Why? The kitchen is clean.
So
and
that's a
it's
good
only
night to
gonna
go
be
out?
clean. Yes, it's only going to be clean that one day, because then everybody else is going to mess stuff up.
Okay, next thing.
It's the kitchen.
Finding balance. Here we go, Suzanne. Share tips on setting boundaries, such as device-free dinner times or scheduled tech breaks to focus on each other. Setting boundaries with your technology, such as device-free dinners. We try the device-free dinners for a while. I always try to get all the kids to stack their phones together, but
Again, it's just pretty much you and Jay Daniel that are always on your phones.
yeah. Do we take? I mean, I took scheduled tech breaks. I dropped off of social media. Was it last 90 days of Lent?
You've done it a couple times.
I've taken 90-day breaks,
Yeah.
but it's hard to take a break when you're also professionally paid to help
Right.
monitor social media and things of that nature.
That is difficult. I agree.
But yeah, I think it's important to take tech breaks. And I understand when people say goodbye on Facebook. Like right now, yesterday, after the president had a press conference, he said some things that I know this will surprise some people. Were kind of uncaring and unfeeling and out
I was
there.
not a fan of his speech yesterday.
I know, but a bunch of people said, I'm done with social media. I'm dropping off. I don't want to hear any more of the negative talks. So, mental health conversation last week. It's important. Take a step away.
Yep.
Discuss the importance of communicating about tech habits and agreeing on what works for both partners. So, I think we're pretty clear on that kind of stuff, tech habits. I mean, I don't text you. Well, I get frustrated when I text you and your phone's in one room and you're in the other.
You get frustrated anytime you try to reach me and I don't answer my phone. I have been berated by you
Okay, I've had people
by not answering my phone for some reason. Like, why didn't you answer your phone? I don't know. I was in the shower or I was on the toilet. I mean, stuff like that. I don't take my phone everywhere.
We have a sign in front of our toilet that says what?
If you run out of toilet paper, text me because I know you're on your phone.
Yes. I have one client who I know every time he texts me,
He's on the toilet.
that's the only time he's texting is
Oh,
when he's sitting
God.
on the toilet. And so I just, in my mind, try
That's
to block
gross.
that picture out because I know that's where he's texting me from.
I just feel like there are some places you don't need your phone. You don't
Yeah,
need
I
your
agree.
phone in the bathroom or getting ready.
Okay, so, but agreeing on boundaries and stuff, I'm okay with you tracking me if you want to. You're not okay with me tracking you.
No.
Okay. So we've agreed on this.
It's not that I don't want you to know where I am. It's just I feel like everybody knows where I am all the time. Like I can't ever have, this goes into a whole thing. I don't feel like I ever have anything that's my own. Everybody's using my stuff. Everybody's calling me. Sometimes if I have a little bit of time carved out in the day where I don't want to be gotten a hold of, then I shouldn't feel bad about that. I should be able to do what I want. I'm almost 58 and I feel like I'm still having to be, kept tabs on constantly. So that's where that's coming from.
That's why you're known as mom to all.
I am mom to all, and it's not that bad of a thing.
Okay, next one, future of technology in relationships. This is a big one. We are in the middle. So we've been married long enough. We remember when the internet first came out and everybody got popular on it and the AOL and all this kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We're at the beginning of a fourth revolution. And AI is going to literally change every single job, every single household, whether you like it or not. I mean, like,
Can I tell you, I'm a little afraid of it.
well, there are people who have a
I
fear.
feel like old people like when the internet came out. Like I'm a little afraid of it. I'm scared of
Well,
what it's going to do.
Number one, how you use it, it changes everything in the advertising agency world, the marketing world.
But how do I know anything is
change everything.
real? That's what scares me.
But I'm just talking about workflows and how you use AI. The question is not about writing copy; it's about how do you feed the AI large language model the right question. This new DeepSeek app, which is out of China, which is absolutely phenomenal. When you watch it, you can actually see it reasoning. So if you ask a question or a problem, you can actually see DeepSeek reasoning on the answer to where it gets to the logical solution. It's fascinating. I know your cousin
so
Ashley this past week.
frightening to
No,
me.
your cousin this past week. She's just using like ChatGPT. The problem is AI. People think that ChatGPT is AI. It's like in the
Google on steroids or something? I don't know.
if you're thinking about a progress of 1,000 yards, Chat GPT is not even at the 1 yard line of where AI is going. Full companies will be fully employed just with AI people. I can set up a business
Yeah, but
tomorrow
doesn't that-
with 0 employees.
Yeah, but
have all
What
AI
about
agents.
people who want jobs or
Well,
need jobs?
that's the whole thing. You got to change. You got to figure out how do you
How does my 21-year-old daughter
so
get a job?
What's funny is there will always be jobs in service areas. There'll be different things, but how you ask those questions. So if she's a creative writer, how she uses AI to better her writing and to
But is that really her writing? I
well,
want to know what her writing
if
is.
she
When I go
if she-
back and I read,
something that's created by AI and it's obviously not a human voice.
yeah,
yet.
I go back and I read something for,
So I will look at somebody like Scott Smallston.
Robert Frost. You read those and then you read something that's created today. It's like,
But hold on, let's go back here. AI. So right now, one of the agents. So the AI platform that I use because of the client is Ask ROI. Anybody without a credit card can go sign up for free on Ask ROI. It's like ChatGPT, but it's
that
better.
our sponsor today.
No, it's not a sponsor. I'm just saying it's a client, and I want this company to succeed. But one of the things I love about about Ask ROI is you can ask and have it written back in any of these other AI assistants. So if I want to go talk to Steve Jobs and get Steve Jobs advice on something, or write this sales piece, or write this strategy piece, or write this code as Steve Jobs would do it, it has taken all of Steve Jobs' writings, all of Steve Jobs' speeches, all of Steve Jobs' published articles, everything that Steve Jobs has ever uttered. Steve Jobs is still living in the AI space so that I can sit there and like if I have a business problem, I can basically say, what would Steve Jobs do in this situation? Like if I went to them.
I can see how that would be good, but I can also see how that can be so misused because
Sure
then,
can.
How are you an individual?
So here's what I was getting to. So your cousin Ashley, she does a Bible study for young girls. She does a
Right.
ministry. She was blown away because she used ChatGPT to do a Bible study lesson. She goes, "What would be a good Bible study lesson on purity with teenage girls or something like that?" ChatGPT gave it all out, and she goes, "It was like wholly inspired." Like she goes, "Do I feel guilty using this because it was so good?" Or do you use it as a tool? I mean, because like it was better than something she could have done herself.
Kind of cheap.
I told you I was down at Daytona at the 24-hour race. Right before the race, I'm standing there with Colin Braun and Scott Dixon and Tom Bloomquist and Felix Rosenquist. They're all standing there, and we're talking about AI because AI was sponsoring their car. Ask ROI was sponsoring the car, and Colin Braun basically said, "I'm fearful of the day when they still need the human driver."
That's right.
But I'm sitting there going, "Wow, even the driver is fearful that his job will be eliminated because of humanoids
Yeah.
and robots and things of that nature."
I told you the only robot I want is Rosie.
So future
the
of
Jetsons.
technology. Jeez. So, I mean, here we go. Future technology. I go to Ask ROI and I said, write a love note to my wife, Suzanne.
But that didn't come from your heart. It came from some.
Dear Suzanne,
Oh my God.
I just wanted to take a moment to remind you of how amazing you are.
At least it'll be grammatically correct.
Your strength, kindness, and wisdom inspire me every day. I'm so grateful to have you, not just as my wife, but as my best friend. We should do a podcast about that. No matter how the challenges we face, I'm confident that together we can navigate anything that comes our way. Thank you for being my partner in this incredible journey. Remember, I am always here to support and cherish you. Cherish. Would I have used the word cherish? Is
Yeah.
that, oh, you would have. Okay. With all my love, John.
Hallmark writers are out of business.
They are. They are. Okay, so invite listeners to share their thoughts.
That was much more sappy than you would have been, by the way.
I'm not sappy?
You're very sappy, but you would not write that kind of sappy.
If I
it would
wrote
have been
that
a little
to
bit
you,
more comedic.
typically, okay, I get that. But typically, like if I read that to you, your line would be something along the lines of grow a pair. What does that really mean?
Grow a pair?
You have some great responses to me. Okay, next one.
You're a grown-ass man. Do that yourself.
There you
Don't
go.
ask GPT or whatever it is.
Okay, so wrapping up.
Are we?
I think we are, yeah. I mean, my Lord, it's been 50 minutes of us talking about technology.
You talking about technology and me going, I'm scared of that.
There's no need to be fearful of it. I mean, how we use technology. Think about the good, positive sides of
I
technology.
just think that there are so many people that are not going to use it the way it's supposed to be used.
Chat GPT and AI, programs like Ask ROI are revolutionizing the work of organizations that are translating the Bible right now. You know, the Wycliffe Bible translators used to have like 400 people translating
Don't pull
text.
the Bible into this and try to make me not scared.
Not scared.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to me that like your mother has adapted to technology well.
Oh my God. My mother has reversed.
She's reversed?
She has put her Theta car in reverse and just backed into the garage. And
One
she worked in corporate America for years. She worked for Mark Cuban. She answered letters and emails
And phones and-
went through mail and voicemails and talked with big executives and basketball players. And no matter what she says to me, if she is sending me anything electronic, anything, it's an email.
It's an email. I always love when she'll say, I saw that email or I got your email and JoJo commented on or something like that.
I'm
hold
like,
on.
what?
First
I
off,
didn't email you. And she said, yes, you did. No, I did not email you. Everything is an email. If you're on Facebook, she says, well, she's on my email. She's on my email and she emails me all the time. And she thinks that what she writes on Facebook is privately sending to you like a text.
oh, that's the best.
Yes.
If you do not follow Theta Hall on Facebook, please do. Is her actual profile Theta Hall Rogers? What does it say? Or
I think
Theta
it's
Hall?
just Theta Hall. I
Yeah,
don't know.
you need to follow her because every now and then there'll be, not every now and then, but every other day, Suze, answer your,
Answer your phone.
no, but she won't even say the whole thing or she'll be like,
Is your weather bad? Yeah, you have to sort of, and she
understand
knows
what she's
this.
saying because I'll see something
Decode
literally
it.
on your Facebook thing that she put on there. It'll be like, what time did the weather happen? And like,
Yeah,
what? Like I don't understand what
get,
she's saying.
I get screenshots all the time from my friends, and she, bless her heart, she got mad at me a little while back because she said, I know you and your friends are just making fun of me and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, well, Mom, we have to make fun of you a little bit because this is so bad. you know better. If she didn't know any better, I don't think it would drive me crazy, but I know she knows better. She's too smart. But she's staying at home now and she's not working and everything is an email.
Well, I tell you, I'm going to send you an email about that. Do you even use your email these days?
I have not. I logged into my email a couple days ago because I was logging into something else and it said that to verify me, they had to send an email code or something. And I think that's probably, do you know what? Let me look and
Well, you know what's interesting is we can play this game real quick because I have, I don't know, 8, 9 email accounts. One personal one and then other work accounts, things of that nature. But like, look at my phone right now.
What?
How many texts does it say that I have in my message?
You have
book?
1,105 texts.
And emails down here. So there's 410,000 emails that have not been opened or
Okay, here's how many emails I have. I have 313,518 emails that are
yeah, very good.
unopened or not deleted.
So there are some organized people who absolutely have to clear out their inbox every
Oh, I
single
know.
day.
I have friends who say, I can't even look at your phone because of all of your...
But you know who can clear out your email box?
Who?
AI. You can
For real?
Absolutely. You can say delete all emails and set the whole thing. There's a whole way to do that.
Now, I would love that if I could.
There you go. Pro technology. Here we go.
If I could get my emails cleared out.
Look at this.
My
We're using technology
318,000.
to improve our relationships. This is good. I'm going to have an AI bot send you a note every single day and tell you how much I love you.
I don't want it from the AI bot. I want you to call me
It'll be
and tell
signed
me
by
that
me.
you love me.
I'm sending you an email just like your mom does.
I don't want that.
So, all right. So let's wrap this up real quick. So we talked about key points, talked about boundaries, setting boundaries, talked about the negatives, talked about the positives, finding a balance. Do you want me off social media?
No, I mean, that's your business.
But I should say, when you made the comment that you didn't want me to drop social media because that's the only way you know where I am, what the underlying thing, that the truth in that is, when I tell you I'm going somewhere, you don't always register that.
True. And your
people
trips
and
are
people
not,
will say, "Where's John today?" And you'll be like, you'll look at Facebook. Oh, he's in Texas.
And sometimes your trips are like 3 or 4 different places in one trip. You know, like you're at this place and then this place, and I'm never really sure when you're landing and leaving.
Okay, but you use my social media to figure out where I am.
Yeah, and you like meet with a lot of important, fun people that I kind of like to,
Follow along.
yeah, just follow along and be in the know, but
a couple
not
of things just
be
from this
there.
past week to catch up before we wrap up. You had an opportunity to go to the Daytona 5, the Rolex 24 in Daytona, because
I didn't really have an opportunity.
I
You
offered to buy you
extended
buy you an
the
airplane
invitation,
ticket.
but
I told you that Elio Castroneves was going to be there.
Retract. You told me he was not going to be there.
I told you he was not racing.
No, you
because
said,
he's running in
he's
the-
not coming.
He's racing in the Daytona 500.
Yes, but you told me that he wasn't coming.
And then I sent you a picture of his motor coach and said you should come down here.
And I said, I thought you said he wasn't coming, and you said,
and he was
they're
so
just
friendly.
using his coach.
We're all on the same team, so he was right there. He was there the whole time. But instead of going and seeing Elio Castroneves, you chose to stay here and go see Dusty Slay.
Dusty Slay slays me. He's hilarious, and the show was beyond my expectation.
Was it really?
He was really, really fantastic.
So we saw Dusty Slay open for Leanne Morgan, I think.
Yes, when
And-
we were in LA.
And
for
you
the
have loved
Netflix.
him ever since then.
Yeah, and he's hit some podcasts that he's on Nate Bargatze's podcast
Mm-hmm.
all the time. But
Is he married?
yes.
Oh, maybe we can get them on
And
our
kids.
podcast.
Dana Carvey.
He can turn it down too.
And David Spade had him on theirs. They think he's hilarious. He's been on the other one that I like with Jason Bateman, and he's just funny, and he's very much in that vein of family comedy. You know, he's not
offensive.
dirty, and he hasn't lived a wholesome life, so he does talk about stuff, but it's so funny.
Oh, I'm sorry I missed it. I'm sorry that you.
It was very good.
Suzanne, so I did buy, before I knew I was going to the Relics 24, I did buy 4 really great seats for Dusty Slay.
Yeah, we
'cause
were
I
on
knew you
like the
liked it.
4th row. It was
I
great.
know. I got the best seats, and then I couldn't go. And you took the kids and had a great time.
Yeah. It was super fun.
But you love Dusty Slay, and that was your choice. I'm trying to think.
Well, but I really felt like that we've got several weekends in February where we are going to just be gone or just consumed with so much going on, and I really felt like I needed to be home for your mom. I felt like I needed to be home for the kids and the animals, and Phoebe doesn't like to be away from me all the time.
That's true. Okay, so thank you for joining us. Thank you for putting up with the two of us. It's been a great hour sitting next to my beautiful bride and talking about how we use technology to better our relationship. And I hope that maybe you got something out of it. Something. If you didn't get anything out of this, then
That's okay too.
that is okay too. But season 3,
Maybe it made your commute shorter.
we're booking guests now for season 3, and I will tell you, I think we're gonna have some people that you don't know on the podcast, but then we have to have some of our friends that actually know you and I, and some of our fun couple friends. And so I'm going to reach out to some of those people.
I think we should put everybody's name in a fishbowl and
just pull it out?
and just pick one out. Yeah.
That sounds good. As long as Scott and Carrie are at the top of the list.
Yep.
That's pretty great.
Yeah.
So anyway,
we got some funny friends.
We
so
do. We've got some good friends. But I'm really
listen.
looking forward to it. I love talking to you, but it'll be fun to
Are you going back to work now?
what do you mean? Like right now? Yes, I'm going back to the office.
You are?
I
Okay.
am. Sorry. You were already asking to see what I had for lunch. Anyway, hey, join us next time on the Marry Your Best Friend podcast when we will be talking about...
What?
You ready for this?
Yeah, because I didn't know what it was going to be.
Join us next time on the Marry Your Best Friend podcast where one of us needs a new outfit.
Ooh, pick me. And a handbag and shoes.
You want them all, don't you?
Please. Birthday month. Hey, I love you.
Yeah, I love you too.